I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government.
Let's talk about Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, an acronym that just so happens to spell Doge.
All right, we are back. These are like these S&M clips that we do at the DailyWire, but mostly I get tortured. I don't know why it's always me, but I get tortured by having to watch people on TikTok and Democrats and other forms of subhuman life attack things that we all love, like, for instance, Doge. Cutting waste and fraud in government spending, which every president has promised to do for the last, I think it's 600 years, back to, it was 600 years ago, it was the Middle Ages. So back even in medieval American presidents have been promising to cut fraud and waste. And now Doge is actually doing it. And here are some people who want to get back at Doge by exposing the fraud and waste in Doge as they're cutting fraud and waste. It will be painful. You'll get to enjoy my suffering, and then you'll feel guilty and hopefully repent and find God and ultimately get to heaven. So it's really a useful video. All right, let's watch one of these clowns.
Elon Musk, who nobody voted for, and the Department of Government Efficiency, that is not actually part of the government, has full access to the Federal Reserve payment systems, the Federal Treasury system that controls payments through Medicare, Social Security, government contracts. Seem to remember Elon being the beneficiary of a lot of government contracts, but always wanting more anyway. Wouldn't it be nice if he could just access those systems and withhold payments to his competitors, divert those funds to himself? Guys, what we have going on right now is a coup. Donald Trump is not the president. Elon Musk is operating a shadow government.
What a loser and a failure at life.
He has subverted the entire governmental apparatus of the United States. It is not hyperbole to say he has taken over this country, the richest man in the world, with access to the deepest pockets in the world.
Ask any good detective, and he will tell you the greatest advantage that the police have is that criminals are stupid. That is also the greatest advantage the Republicans have when dealing with Democrats.
I love the poorly educated.
Everything that guy said was absurd. All Doge is doing is cutting stupid programs and leftist American-hating programs so that your dollars that you earn and they are taxed away from you won't be used for things that make your life worse.
I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere.
All of the contracts that Elon Musk got from the government, not under Trump. Trump's only been president for a couple of days. He is being allowed, or was before the judge stopped him, was being allowed to look at where the money is going. There are over 100,000 employees of the Treasury. They all can look at that. An appointee of the president should be able to look at it too. I'm telling you, I mean, if these guys had even an IQ longer than the words IQ, they would be more difficult to deal with. All right, let's watch more.
Everybody wants the government to be responsible with our money. But what Elon is doing with our agencies and departments has nothing to do with our money and everything to do with his money. If we really wanted to save money, the very first agency the newly minted Department of Government Efficiency should have audited would have been the Department of Defense, since it's the second largest category of government spending, and the Pentagon has failed its annual audit 7 years in a row. In fact, it hasn't passed an audit since the Department of Defense became required to have audits because they couldn't fully account for where their money was going. But did Doge start there? No. Doge started with USAID and the Consumer Financial Protection Board, and they're all up in Treasury and Transportation and the EPA. They started with the agencies and departments that are specifically connected to Elon's personal wealth. Not yours. His.
All right, another genius. So as I'm sitting here, Elon is going into the Pentagon, and the Pentagon is already preparing cuts they'd made. So why did Elon go to the Pentagon later than he went to the Department of Education and the USAID? Very simple. If the USAID and the Department of Education vanish off the face of the earth, nothing will change in your life. If the Defense Department, if the Pentagon disappears, we're screwed. So we need the Pentagon, but yes, they should be audited, and they will be audited, and they are being audited as I'm talking to you now. But I have to say, I enjoyed listening to that woman because I had too many IQ points in my own brain, and she cut about 5 of them. Just listening to them, I got stupid. All right. There's more stupidity to come.
Hold on, you're telling me that the Department of Government Efficiency, which Elon Musk is using to cut wasteful government spending, has already used up 7 million taxpayer dollars to cover its expenses in just the span of a single week? That's right. Doge has already claimed approximately $7 million of taxpayer money, which is almost twice the yearly salary and expense budget for the White House. Over $6 million of the $7 million was transferred to Doge just this week to cover, quote, unanticipated needs. So next time you hear Republicans throwing a temper tantrum over money being spent on supplying healthcare costs to low-income Americans, or taxpayer dollars being used for funding scientific research on the environment, just...
So there comes a point when people are so stupid that you can't even follow what they're saying. I dozed off in the middle of that rant. All I remembered was that we spent a couple of $1 million to get rid of billions of dollars in wasted money. After that, I just dozed and I had a beautiful dream that I was not here anymore listening to this stuff. And then I awoke and there was another one.
You know, last year we saw the Pentagon budget go to $895 billion. So why didn't they start there? Why didn't they start with the Pentagon? The Pentagon can't even pass an audit. We know this. 7 audits. You talk about efficiency? No, in Detroit, we know you're lying. This is not about efficiency. It's because maybe Elon Musk, as Congresswoman Omar said, maybe it's because the $20 billion in federal contracts. That's where it is in the Pentagon budget. Maybe they have too many friends that have military defense contractor companies. Maybe that's why. Or maybe it's because members of Congress who vote to pass record-breaking Pentagon budgets actually benefit financially, personally, because they own stock in defense contracts. Maybe that's why they didn't start with the Pentagon budget. If they really, truly wanted to root out waste and corruption, they would have started with the Pentagon.
Now, Rashida Tlaib just wants to cut the Pentagon because the Pentagon are the guys who are assigned to kill all her friends because she's a terrorist supporter. She's just prejudiced. That's all. All right, are there more of these? I'm afraid to ask.
We have some big news right now. College students are rising up and suing the Department of Education, alleging that the Department of Education and Doge are improperly accessing private data. Specifically, the University of California Student Association's lawsuit alleges that Elon Musk's Doge violates privacy laws and federal regulations by infiltrating computer systems that house student financial aid information. Recently, the Washington Post reported that Elon Musk and Doge have accessed data sets containing the personal information of students who receive federal financial aid through a program called FAFSA. And Musk's Doge team is actively reviewing the Department of Education's data, according to the USA Today. Well, now there is a lawsuit brought by students who don't want Elon Musk or Doge to get access to sensitive education data.
I am not supposed to be here. Please send help.
The administration is facing in its first 2 weeks being in office.
When a guy tells me that his cohort is rising up while he's in bed, like he can't even get out of bed, I'm not worried. And what sensitive educational information are they afraid they'll get? Their debts?
You know, I thought you were going to say...
But anyway, it doesn't matter. The guy's in bed, he's like, we're rising up as soon as I get out of bed, which I'm not doing. So that's not a big worry we have to have. All right, next one.
You know how much money a day Mr. Musk will receive from the federal government for his contracts?
No.
The answer is $8 million a day. Just last year, Elon Musk was promised $3 billion from close to 100 contracts with the federal government. Ms. Royal, do you know how much the average person in this country who survives on Social Security, one of our seniors who's worked their entire life, about how much they have to survive on a day?
I do not.
$65 a day. We're not looking into Elon Musk's $8 million a day. This subcommittee, chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the House Republicans, is looking into your grandmother's $65 a day. When Republicans talk about government efficiency in this Congress, they're not looking into billionaires who don't pay their taxes. They're not looking into billionaires who get rich off of government contracts. They're not looking into Elon Musk firing watchdogs who are supposed to keep him accountable. They're looking at cutting your public schools. They're going straight for your Social Security. They're coming straight for cancer research. They're coming straight for the Department of Education. They're not looking at big tech. They're not looking at big pharma because those people fund their campaigns.
So all that's untrue. It's just untrue. I'm sorry. I sound like I'm surprised. Let me read that again. I'll do that again. Well, that was untrue. That was obviously untrue. But okay, so we've seen stupidity, we've seen dishonesty, we've seen Rashida Tlaib. I think that's as much as I can possibly take. I think the fact that I'm still sitting here at all without pitching forward onto my keyboard is a tribute to the inner strength of my being. And I think you should all send me some waste and fraud so I can just celebrate my inner being for watching this. If you want more incredible stupidity and dishonesty, like and subscribe. And if you want even more, subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.